Hello, and welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and this is going to be my review for ShadeCraft number 5. This one demerit a whole review just for itself. For one, this was a really good read all the way through. This is the end of the first arc or first book, or I think they did title it first book, but first arc. If you don't know about ShadeCraft and for some reason have not started reading it, it is about Zadie and her ShadeCraft powers. This right here on the cover is specifically her brother. The art is done by Lee Garbett, and the book is written by Joe Henderson. Art by color artist by Antonio Fabila. Lettering by Simon Boland. Editor Rick Lopez Jr. I'll get into why I did the names specifically. You all know I'm bad with names, but there's a reason to note every name on the list. First off, it has been a wonderful journey, the first 5 books, and I'm looking forward to issue number 6 and further. But the story, pacing, the twists and turns, because we've kind of got like two. The art was just amazing. But it's about Zadie and her transformation, her obtaining these ShadeCraft powers. So at the end of this, we were with Zadie and her mom. Her mom also has ShadeCraft powers. That's why she has ShadeCraft powers. They are trying to break into this facility where her brother is being held prisoner by like her mom's ex-handler. Her mom used to be a part of this like kind of Weapon X government program, and the person in charge of this program has recently resurfaced. She was, I think, like a high school counselor or like imitating a principal or something like that at Zadie's school, trying to get closer to Zadie. She kind of tricked Zadie into believing that her brother, the shadow, was just like a shadow or something like that, something evil, and that's how she was able to get a hold of Zadie's brother. Learning at the very end of that last issue that Zadie's brother was his brother. It was just a different manifestation of the ShadeCraft powers. That's what kind of where we're up to and why her mom and are trying to break into this facility. We see very quickly on in the first book, I mean right here, that there's a lot of shadow play, and then these girls take no mess. I mean, they get rid of all the guards on the way in there. Once they get in there, they quickly find out where, Zadie's brother is, and they run into the ex-handler. Everything's so quick. I know her, okay, her name is Angela. But Angela, the handler, there's confrontation and all this, and she tries and lays out that this different story for, saying that her mom gave up, and I think her brother's name is Danny, but gave up Danny's body, blah blah blah, and basically trying to say that, oh, I'm not the bad guy, your mom's a liar, no. Danny is released, and at the same time, ShadeCraft powers are tied to their emotional state, and right there he's hulking out. He can't control it anymore. Angela has somehow managed to escape, both mother and daughter, and she's trying to get the hell out of there. And intelligently enough, but not so intelligently, but she created this white room, where she believed has no shadows. But I mean, if you're a human, shadows are everywhere, right? Especially every time you open your mouth, there's a shadow where light can't get into, right back there, right? But there's also other shadows right here every time you move your arms, and if you're a bigger person or an even smaller person, there's usually a small shadow right there. Of course, her mother is smart enough to know all this. She is a well-trained ShadeCraft user, and she quickly incapacitates Angela. outside, Zadie is dealing with her brother and this new transformation, and he is stating, you get the hell out of there. I can't control this. I'm out of control. Zadie is that sister, man. This part of the book, I swear to God, I almost cried. I mean, it is one of those. It's not like a Disney fairy tale version of family. It's one of those, like, that brother and sister moments that you really want in real life. You don't want that brother sister rivalry, type thing. You want that love and that family there, and that, man, they did like the perfect job here. Now, it didn't give me a cry or anything, but I mean, you really do feel the love that Zadie does have for her brother here, and what she's willing to do and go for, because basically she becomes like this huge, like, shadow amalgamation, just like he does, and you can kind of see it's down here in this bottom panel right there. And she basically hugs him, and she knows, and he knows, but he's about to explode, like literally go nuclear, and he can't control it, and she just hugs him, and she's like, well, screw it, we'll die together, and it's not what happens, and she's able to, like, kind of at the same time create the shadow bubble around them and absorb, the onslaught power that he released. They do show down here that it kind of, it took him out of the picture, and Zadie is still going, and she took the blunt of it. After, briefly after that, Zadie is kind of like outside taking care of Danny and her mom, while trying to get Angela outside the facility. They start worrying about their dad, and Danny's body. The Angela, the handler, had mentioned, ha ha ha, you got me, but you're still gonna have to work for me because I already sent Danny's body off before y'all even got here. So unless you want to know where his body is, you're never really gonna get him as a brother back. When we found out that the dad is a little smarter than that, because the dad has he caught up with the driver and ended up crashing into that guy and securing his body. They go like a month later, and they show some of Zadie and Danny's classmates, and she's kind of saying goodbye using her ShadeCraft technology. We do see that right here in these panels over here that the family is getting ready to do like the ShadeCraft ritual that they're kind of, not so sure of, but they just show that, and that's kind of where they're leaving it off. Did they make it? Did they? Well, of course they sure did, man. Family, buddy. And it looks like that's where the end of the story goes. And it's leaving us at this great moment, because there is going to be more. Because right here, this is why I really wanted to denote this, because, just this one page that we got from Joe Henderson right here, and, and he's talking about ShadeCraft in general, everything that went into it. And he touches on something major, and a lot of us forget this, and as humans we do this all the time, but we forget events that happened, recently. And he's talking about, writing ShadeCraft during the past year and a half that happened, and first off, the book was self-funded, which is crazy, right? This is Image Comics, but they had to self-fund this comic. And between him trying to get this show started on Netflix, because he does say right here that, and we all know that it was optioned in the beginning for Netflix, but him trying to do the comic at the same time, it really took a toll. They really didn't get the feedback at first that they thought they would. They didn't even know if comics would still be going, after everything that happened. So, I mean, it was a really different thing. Now, he does state that the artist has moved on to bigger and brighter things because of, the whole pandemic. And that he's working for Doctor Strange now. And if you like this art, that's where Lee Garbett will be drawing for. But he does say that he has already picked up that now that everything is back in full stream, this was basically self-made ShadeCraft, and we're about to get corporate-backed ShadeCraft coming up. So that sounds pretty interesting, especially where they're leaving it off with the whole family idea, working as a team type thing going forward. But yeah, the first 5 issues of ShadeCraft was amazing. Joe Henderson, Lee Garbett, you really outdid yourself, especially the whole backstory. I felt like it denoted like its own time. If you have not read ShadeCraft, please check it out. I actually have a couple issues of the first the first, the number 1. So I mean, if you can't find it for some reason, reach out to Evil. Maybe I got Joe back. Yeah, but I'm still reading some more comics. I got I think 2 more reviews coming up of this week's new comics, so keep a lookout for that. Y'all be good. I'll see you next time. Evil out.